Everyone's looking for me. Canada Revenue, most specifically. I know Canada Revenue was looking for me, and that's not a good thing. I didn't know that. No. My boss was like, you know, Canada Revenue is looking for me. I'm like, sweet, cash it in. Where's the checks? Where's the checks? That's not how that works. You're pretty much fucked. And I was like looking for some advice, and I know a lot of professionals, but most of the professionals I know, they're all like drug addicts or like alcoholics. You'd be surprised how many teachers do cocaine. Like, watch your kids. I like how you're like, yep, yeah. Doing the lines with the cocaine or the fucking teachers. That's what we do. That's what they do. I was having this party, my roommate was having this party, and he's like, hey man, like my friend Andy, he's an accountant, maybe he can help you out. I was like, all right, cool. So Andy came to the party, and I'm just telling him my problems. I'm like, yeah, Canada Revenue is looking for me. I think it's because like I owe student loans or something. And he's just like nodding his head, doing key bumps, drinking his whiskey, and I finished my story. I'm like, do you have any advice? He's like, yeah. Don't let him catch up to you. What the fuck? How are you a professional? Like, and Andy, he looked like he was like straight from the 2000s. He had like a fucking like bleach blonde spiked hair and like fucking the seashell necklace. Like he looked like once before 4 broke up, he turned into an accountant. Like he was very so I'm like, all right, I guess I'm on my own. So like Canada Revenue called me up, and I'll give you guys some advice if you owe the government money. Whenever you answer that call, lay down. Like lay on the couch like you haven't done shit for years. And like you're not about to get up to do more shit, you know? And yawn when you answer, like, yeah, you know? Like, Mr. O'Shea, you owe us $16,000. I was like, holy fuck. They're like, yes, Mr. O'Shea. And it's weird to like call someone Mr. O'Shea when they owe you almost 20 grand. I'm like, that's so polite, that's weird. I'm like, Mr. O'Shea, you haven't paid this at all in like 8 years. You haven't paid anything. He's like, wait, that's not true. Because I did my taxes 2 years ago, and I was supposed to get $1,000 back, but you guys kept that. So don't act like I haven't done shit. Don't act like that. Which is exactly what I haven't done, because I haven't done my taxes since then. I'm like, if I don't get it, nobody does. Fuck you, government. Fuck you. And they like start to break down, like they're like, okay, so how much, they start breaking down my expenses, like how much do you get paid? I'm like $300 a week. She's like, it's like, what are your expenses? I'm like, well, I pay $100 in rent, and then I pay like $150 in like food and bills. They're like, that's a little high. And I'm like, well, I like caviar. What can I say? And I started making up expenses. I was like trying to do like math in my head. I'm like, and then there's $25 in shirt pressing. I don't know. I'm like, no shit. And she's like, okay, so you have like $100 worth of disposable income a month. Can you pay $50 of it? I'm like, you want me to pay half of my fake disposable income to you? That makes sense. She's like, but the interest alone is $2 a month. I'm like, okay, I'll pay that then. That's cool. She's like, that's not reasonable. I'm like, what? You're the government of Canada. What are you guys gonna do with that extra $48 a month? What are you guys gonna do? Like, are you guys gonna fill in the roads in Montreal? Is that what you're gonna do? Are you gonna start mailing things to old people again? Like, what the fuck are you gonna do with that $48? Just trying to strong arm me too. I'm like, fuck, what are you gonna do? You can't do shit. You know, I'd be worried if my accountant cokehead Andy was looking for $50 a month. Then I'd be worried. What are you gonna do, government Canada? How about I just don't pay you anything? How about that? What are you gonna do then? How about I just not pay you, and then I'll like wait till I become a famous comedian, and then I'll just pay it all off at once? She's like, that's not very realistic. It's like, it's more realistic than me ever paying your ass.